Well, hey there, YouTube. Another day, another conversation. So today we're going to discuss the 5 love languages. If you've never heard of them, then don't feel bad. This is not something that everybody knows. In fact, I don't read a lot of books other than the Bible, so I really have no interest in sometimes reading other people's advice, but I love to watch on YouTube and listen to other people's comments and advice that way, because that to me makes sense and takes a lot longer to read a book than it does to listen to someone talk. So I'd rather just be more efficient. But either way, everybody has their own way, and if you've read and you love reading a bunch, okay, great. But I won't be that guy reading the book. But I did take the time to read some articles and take the test about the 5 love languages. And you say, what are the 5 love languages? Well, see if I can do it off the top of my head. So the one that is the most important to me is the physical touch. The second one after that is quality time. Then after that would be words of affirmation. Then there's acts of service, and finally gifts. And so everybody has these 5 love languages. This is how you love your spouse or your future spouse. So if you're going to get married, or if you are already married, you should start to develop these, learn these, and understand these, because I didn't until I was 10, 12 years into marriage, and it changed my marriage. And even though like 2 years later it fell completely apart, that was not anything to do with the love languages at all. In fact, we had never on that level been so connected, because my wife and I at the time, if our love languages looked like this, and this was physical touch and quality time, they were basically like that. And so while we tried to establish our relationship and figure things out, we were not clicking at all. And so what you want to do is, if you can, either understand this and figure out the way to work, or sometimes you just get lucky like I did the second time around, and your relationship just does this because it matches perfectly. But the 5 love languages are critical, and they are real. And so there's a test. You can Google search it, look it up online. It's, take you a second to figure it out. But it's just a test you go through. It takes maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It asks you I want to say 30 questions. It's pretty easy. But it tells you a lot about yourself, and says, yep, would you rather this happen to you or this happen to you? Would you rather someone give you a gift or give you a hug? And so it talks about all these things. And so for me, I was like, oh yeah, I'd rather be hugged, and I like the physical contact. I just like that. Someone touching my arm is much different than someone giving me a PlayStation or something. I'd rather have that touch. And so, but that's me. Everybody is different, and you gotta learn you, because then you know what makes you tick. But you also gotta learn, more importantly, I think, or as important, I guess I should say, is your spouse or your future spouse. How do they like their love? Because kind of like you're getting your food, there's different ways to make a steak. It's the same thing. How do you take your love? Well, I take it medium rare. Well, that's kind of what we're doing here. You want to know what exactly their love language is. So have them take the test. You take it. Do it together, because you can work this out as a team, but you got to individually take it. There's no cheating. When we took a big test, my buddy, for getting married the second time, my buddy actually was like, did you guys copy off each other? And I was like, no. Why would we do that? That's kind of defeating the whole point of trying to get this figured out. When we were doing kind of pre-marriage counseling, one time kind of deal. And he was like, you guys got the best score I've ever seen. And we were literally had the exact same answers, I think, for everything except maybe one thing. And so it was awesome, because I was like, that's how I feel. We totally match, and this is a great match. And if I would have taken that marriage test with my first wife, we would not have matched as well. We would have probably had a C plus maybe. And as far as our rating to where we were good together and matched in all ways. And so does that, that wasn't a reason well, I guess I'll never love you as good and I want to be an A student. No, it just meant that we had to put in a little bit more effort, a little bit more time to figure out what makes that other person tick, because it just doesn't come natural. For me, I don't need gifts all the time. It's fun though. I like to be thought of every once in a while. I love all the love languages. I want to be loved in all the different ways there are. But if you talk the priority one, if my wife's would you rather have me scratch your back or buy you a coffee? I'm like, dude, give me the back scratch all day long. So I just like that. But you need to know what you are and what she is. So I'm going to reiterate that over and over again. But please take the time to find out, because once you go, okay, it just changes the way you think. You're like, I think, I want to love on her, but I'm going to love on her way, not love on her my way. So if she doesn't like touch and physical, touch, and I'm sitting like massaging your shoulders and her back, and she's just like it almost maybe not, oh, that's nice, but for me, I'm like, yeah, this feels great, don't you feel the connection? Nope. But the same thing is true where if they're trying to love on you, you need to let them know what your love language is, because if it's like acts of service, then you do things for that person, and you just make it a habit to start doing those things, and they all of a sudden will start loving you more, and it's like a light bulb kind of goes on, and you're like, oh wow, this is great. We're jiving now, because you're hitting them in the right place that they need to be. It's like scratching an itch. That's basically what it is. And so, but it's more of like a driving desire to be loved, and everybody's built differently, and I don't know nature versus nurture, like how it comes to be, if it's something that God puts in us, or if it's just something that exists based on your childhood, or if you were held too much or not enough as a baby, or someone gave you a gift and you smiled. I have no idea. But they're real, and you gotta do this. Trust me, this made a huge difference in my life. And then when I got remarried, it was really awesome, because I knew what came natural to me, and my wife had the same ones. So I just was able to easily love on her, and we have such an amazing and affectionate relationship because of that. But previous marriage, we still were able to connect and make a very amazing marriage by understanding that, hey, when I want love, I want it this way. When you need love, I'm going to give it to you this way. And I'm not going to do it out of like, oh, he needs a back rub again because he's always wanted to be touched. Or, oh, she wants me to buy her something else because she always needs stuff. Like, you just do it. It becomes part of who you are. You're growing that relationship, and you're just making it like almost a routine, like natural. But selfless love is something that is so important. In this world, it's so easy for us to be selfish. So many people are selfish. It's all about them and what I want and what I can get out of marriage, and you can do for me. Don't do it that way. Selfishness is an empty grave, like a kind of you just keep filling it, and it just keeps never getting full. The selfish desires of our hearts are just wrong and broken. And so, but something about being selfless and giving works differently. And I can't explain this except for it's just how God must have designed it. Selfishness is not good, and it doesn't make us better people. It makes us worse. But, and then it's like I would say, this is something Jesus said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And as a kid, you don't understand that, because you're like, I want presents for me. And then you get your presents and you're like, yay, and you kind of have like this, not remorse, but you're just like, oh, okay, I got them, and I play with this present, it's fun. But as you mature and you give someone a gift that is just incredible, that hits them the right way, man, like, there is something amazing about that. You're like, I gave them that gift. And every time you see them with that gift, you're just like, I gave them that. I learned who they were, and I loved on them, and I gave them that gift, and they accepted it, and they just were so happy, and it makes you just filled with this joy that is so much different than getting what you want. So marriage is the exact same way. When you're in your relationship, if you give your spouse, you will have much more of an amazing response than if you're taking from your spouse. So spend the time to get to know yourself, know your spouse, and then go ahead and love on them in their way, and train your brain to just, that is your default. It's natural for you to love your way. Stop it. Do the unnatural and love on them their way. And I promise you're going to have a whole different paradigm shift in your relationship, and you'll be thanking me. And if not, that's okay. You guys know you'll still thank me somehow. But yeah, guys, it's been great. Like I said, thanks for listening to the channel and everything. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I keep getting more and more subscribers and more comments. And so it's been awesome just to hear what other people say and see the community out there. So that's really cool. But if you have any questions, comments, or want me to talk about something, I'm going to just try to keep going and doing this as much as I can, because it's fun to me, and people are obviously liking it. So we'll just keep going. But I'm just a guy in a car, and I'm headed to work. So I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.